Facebook page. If you're a Facebook subscriber, please join the page. We have almost 3,300 members now. And we'd like to have you there. There's an awful lot of active discussion on there every day and ideas on what you can do to help. So again, if you're on Facebook, please join us. Just do a search for PTCC. Call your representatives, call your senators. Let them know you want this bill passed, that you need it, and personalize it. Tell them why it affects you. There's a lady I spoke to earlier this evening about how she has lost homes because of this and is in danger of losing her home again. And by the way, yesterday a piece ran in the Scranton paper in Lackawanna County about property tax sale hearings that are being held in Lackawanna. First story they told was about a woman who said she was going to be sheriffed in October. She said, I have no place to go. I will have no place to live. And the attitude was, too bad. We need to take the property for the taxes. If you have that, if that's how it's affecting you, make sure the lawmakers know it. Personalize it. Let them know how you feel. And above all, spread the word. If you like what you've heard tonight, then please tell others about it. Ask them to go to the website. It's on the literature that was handed out at the door. There it is again. Have them go to the website, read up about the bill. If they agree with it, ask them to support it as well. As a grassroots movement, the only way we're going to spread the word is through word of mouth and informed and dedicated taxpayers. If you can join us, we'd certainly appreciate it. That's the presentation, and I'll be glad to take any questions you might have. By the way, any of you received this in the mail?
Yes.
You got it? Any questions? Yes, sir, you're right there. Probably.
What is your background?
My background, I was, early in my career back in the 60s, I was a radio DJ for 15 years, and then moved over to television, anchored a television newscast in Allentown for 4 years, and eventually became the manager of corporate television for AT&T and Lucent Technologies. I am not a politician, never have been, and now that I'm retired, I'm a citizen activist. You're welcome. Anyone else? Saw you first. Go ahead.
Yes. This is for Senator Wisniak. Please pass the law because I'm the one that he was talking about. I lost 3 homes and I'm on the verge of losing my home. And I live in Westmont. So,
I live in Westmont too, and I ran my numbers about my children and how much it costs to educate them, and at the end game, how much I'll owe at the end of my life because somebody paid for me. What I'd like to have, and I'm not categorically opposed, I'm going to have my say for a little bit. I'm not categorically opposed to this, but that's a lot to chew on.
Yeah.
And I certainly would like to, I guess I go to the website to see that information because let's do that. It's a lot to chew on. My biggest concern, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've got a problem. My citizens are going to pay the personal income tax, paying for Walmart, skyscrapers, power plants, and etc. That's almost 27% of the increase out there. We are poised, as you're saying, in the Senate. It was defeated in the House. It couldn't pass through the... May I stand up here?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Feel free.
And don't start going, wah, 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 wah. I don't want to hear it. Who from my district is here? Okay, that's a good sign. Westmont. Well, you heard I put the $500,000. I just did some numbers on Westmont. Actually, they weren't. They were my own personal numbers just to figure out if I lived in my house for 40 years, based upon my income, based upon the property tax, and how much that cost of we're getting from the state that I would take out of my PIT. So you know how you do that? It's been all over the Facebook thing, the ice dump thing. You need to look at your lifespan. You need to look at what you paid for your child's education, what you paid in the property taxes, before you say it's all full of it, you have to realize how much other people are actually paying for the education of children, unless you have no kids. If you have no kids, I don't have an answer for you at all. I don't have a problem out here. My biggest issue, and I'm not going to lie, is I am very uncomfortable about paying for corporate Pennsylvania. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to analyze this document. The Westmont School District, let me bring this up, because here's the other piece, and I know that everybody's got you've done this over and over and over again. You're good.
Thank you.
You really are. I'll tell you what. I'm listening.
Let me say something very quickly.
Sure.
You brought it up. You mentioned Walmart.
Sure.
Are you aware of the vendor discount provision in the bill?
That's why I'm here to listen.
Okay. Right now, businesses...
And Comcast, since you're in media.
Right now, businesses retain 1% of all the sales tax they collect.
Right. I'm talking about the property tax that
No,
they're
but
paying.
you mentioned Walmart.
Right.
Okay? Right now, businesses are allowed to keep 1% of all the sales taxes they collect for the trouble of collecting the tax for the state.
Right.
For the average Walmart, that amounts to about $28,000 a year that they get to stick in their pocket simply for pressing a button saying send to Harrisburg. The bill changes that to a flat $300 per year. So yes, Walmart's going to have their property taxes eliminated, but they're going to pay $28,000 more or lose $28,000 more that they would normally get for the vendor discount.
Okay.
And I think that pretty much evens out the score.
$28,000 for Walmart. Okay. Talked about the non-concern of the basic education formula. As we talked about Westmont, I went twice and I had to do a little dickering in there to make some additions to it. The state SB formula is completely out of whack. In 1968, we had about 2,700 school districts. We're down to 501 now. The demographics of Pennsylvania have shifted dramatically. Areas that once had a lot of people have much less. Areas that much had higher incomes are now declining. I think this is not so much an indication of the economic malaise of Pennsylvania, but rather the aging of Pennsylvania. And that's where the issue of the property tax comes in. I'm interested in listening to this. I'm uncomfortable, and I'm going to tell you what, very honestly, I'm very angry. I'd like to have a picture of those people to the front of my house that came to my house. My wife has a medical issue. And somebody from, and it wasn't your organization, it was somebody, it wasn't your people, I don't know who it was. They took pictures, and they were not from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. They came to my house and had placards. They're welcome. You're welcome to come and park out on my front steps of my office 24/7. But please give me the courtesy, the privacy of my own home. I'm a human being too, and I have a family. I'm taking this into consideration. But I'll tell you what, that's an anger. The biggest issue that's facing this now is you need, and I'm not going to go out there and keep doing what you're doing. I need to analyze this and take a darn good look at it, because you just gave me chock full of information that may or may have not have been disseminated to me in the way you disseminated it. So
Yes, sir.
let's be fair about this.
Absolutely.
There's information that I have to gather.
And by the way, just very quickly,
And I'm here, so that's showing you something.
I do not lie, I do not exaggerate, because, and excuse me for saying this because it's not directed to you, but I've often said, if I lie, if I exaggerate, it makes me no better than the people I'm fighting.
Very good.
And I refuse to do that, so you can depend on what I've given you tonight.
Are we gonna wait 30 more years?
I don't want to wait 30 more years. I plan on being here for, see, I'm 58, so I got about 42 more to go. And but I'm going to tell you the political end of it. It was up an amendment in the House because they couldn't get it out of committee. That amendment went up to another bill. There's 89 co-sponsors, 59 people voted for it. It's not coming out of that House right now. The issue about it has to be revenue neutral, that may or may not become an issue because I don't know what happens next election, and I don't think the governor, if he's reelected, is going to be standing by that no tax increase code. I don't want to get into politics of it because we can do the rhetoric about we're $1 billion shy of what we were 3 years ago, we're $4 billion shy. We have to make sure, I like the concept that as the economy grows, so does that bucket. Because there are still going to be teachers' contracts. I don't hate teachers. I think they're one of the most important products, producers are one of the most important products we have, and that's our children. And I know there's a lot of people out there that think the solution to the problem is just raining on the teachers, and then those problems come down. The other interesting thing is, I've heard it, get rid of the General Assembly and all that kind of stuff. We are about, I forget the number, $800 million, $300 million, throw in the judicial branch, that's another $300 million. So even if you got rid of all the elected state representatives, state senators, and all the judges, and just let the mice and the rats and the cobwebs grow, that still wouldn't touch the problem here. We still have a pension issue. It is in front of our horizon. When we do the actuaries, it's out there as if everybody at the same time would be retired at the same time and take that. Act 120 is in place. In February of this year, we were going to see if some of those numbers are coming back. That is on the front burner for a lot of members. Something has to give in Pennsylvania to make that work. Right now, it's a financial issue and it's an ideological issue. We've got to get off the ideological side of it and find out how do we financially correct the situation we're in today. I'm here to say that I have an absolute interest in eliminating property taxes in Pennsylvania. I want to make sure that everybody has a fair shake at enjoying the American dream. If you're going to lobby politely. Don't sit there and try to sit there and just say, hey, we're going to just take you out. There's a savoir-faire on our end, and there has to be on the other end. I think this was a great presentation. I think hear people talking and nodding their heads back there because they're very interested. This is not an easy political vote. You are raising, and people do not trust us, you are raising taxes a significant amount of dollars. You must reduce property taxes to eliminate that they're getting something for their money. The question I saw a hand. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You mentioned pension reform.
Yes, ma'am?
If we don't eliminate our school property tax, pension reform is going to collapse the property owners because there's only 3 ways of funding education in Pennsylvania: federal, state, and local. Property owners are the local. If you do pension reform, funding formula, before you eliminate our school property tax, we are going to collapse.
Fair enough. And there's something else I need from all of you folks. I've been a proponent of trying to make our school districts more efficient, reducing the size, consolidating them. Nobody's ever stood behind me on that. We have 501 school districts in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, down to 500 now. Florida, 67 counties, 67 school districts. This was brought to my attention a number of years ago when I called the Inquisition in front of the School Board Association. Usually, when the Democrats are governor, they're saying, please give us more. When the Republicans are governor, they're just saying, eh. But Jerry Davich, who was the superintendent, brought up when they were beating on me, and he said, let me draw you a picture. Since most of you are from the area. Greater Altoona School District, one school district. Johnstown, Ferndale, Wimber, Conemaugh Valley, Conemaugh Township, Westmont, Richland, combined, mind you, have less students than the Greater Altoona School District. Same demographics, same type of people, poor and rich. That means over here, that's 7 superintendents, 14 assistant superintendents, 7 business agents, 14 assistant business agents, 7 bus contracts, etc., etc., etc. Nobody wants to talk about the artificial political boundaries that created in 1968. There is money to be saved there. And it's not going to be part of this bill, I understand. But it needs to be seriously considered. And in the best case scenario, at least the merging of our administrative costs. You can save $1 billion across the board, and that savings, as you talked about the black line, continues to grow over the years. Yes, sir?
Senator, first of all, is the state not required to fund 50% of the school?
Let's get back to where it was.
Senator, yes or no, please?
Go ahead.
Is it yes?
The answer was, that was never marked in concrete. That was the ideal, that was the standard that the state was supposed to meet. It never met that. And that's the other piece, is we never did our job in raising the taxes on the state level to drive them out where they should have been. And to get those votes, that's where that 2% held harmless came in. That's where a lot of members said, I'm not voting for this budget.
Senator, let's not go long. I don't need a long hour. It's just an answer.
No, no.
You don't need it. Is it
No, the answer was, no, the state has never mandated to reach 50%.
I've been a school director for 18 years. I'm sharing with you, number one, the faults here are multiple. Number one, the state and the representatives that represent us. Number two, the teachers and the teachers union, which is entirely too strong. I didn't even point out that they dictate to people like you in our legislation. Pennsylvania has the 4th largest legislation in the country. Now, why can't we reduce it? You people don't want to lose your job because you have to vote against it. Why isn't that brought up the table?
I already voted for a bill to reduce the size of the Senate and the House. I already voted to reduce the size of the Senate and the House.
Now, apparently you have no influence.
Well, there's one vote on that thing, it's got to go through the House and Senate.
There's no satisfaction on that,
All right.
as far as that's concerned.
All right, let's stick.
Let me pass the mic around so we can hear folks, please. Are you finished, sir?
I got one more.
One more?
Thank you very much. I agree with the remark about the secretary. It was a typical remark of a teacher, so we can discount his thoughts up front. They're meaningless. They prove nothing. What we want are true eliminations of taxes. So we get this money, this deferred money from the gambling, from the horses, for what? I received a $450 reduction 1 year. The next year, my school taxes went up $450. Where do I win? It's not a win-win, John. What we must do, John, we must collectively, including you, we must collectively stand up and be counted. We've got to do away with property taxes in the state of Pennsylvania, and especially in Johnstown. Thank you.
If I can make one comment about what the gentleman said. I don't think I hear all the time that people want to blame the teachers. I don't blame the teachers. Which one of us, when we were working, didn't try to get the most salary out of our employers that we could? I certainly did. And I don't blame the teachers for trying either. Who I do blame is the teachers' union. They are too strong, too powerful, and use the teachers' dues to fight political battles where they shouldn't have their nose. And they are what is hindering Pennsylvania property tax reform. I'm sorry.
Are you going to help us, Mr. Wiseman?
I'm trying to find my way clear. Like I said, I agree to disagree. That corporate taxes out there really bothers me. This, you're saying just do this. This is tougher. You're voting for the largest tax shift. I was looking for the word. Tax shift in Pennsylvania history. What it's going to be is in the front page of the newspaper, the largest tax increase in Pennsylvania history.
No.
You're a shit. That's what the newspaper. You know, I came here. I'm trying. It's the largest tax shift in Pennsylvania history. That's still going to be a tough sell for a lot of people. Are saying, okay, my taxes are going up. They're on pension. They're not paying personal income tax, but their property taxes go away too. So now I'm paying for that. I know you have an answer to it, but I mean,
I sure do.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
I just want to say Pennsylvania spends $13,000 per student, according to census data.
On average.
Only 10 other states spend more. School teachers' average salary is $63,521. Maybe inflated by certain urban districts, but it's where the money goes. Only 8 states pay their teachers better. And this really goes back to 2001 and Act 9. And the state legislature did that little midnight gathering to give themselves a big increase in salary and pensions. They added the teachers and the state workers on because they knew they needed the political support, and they got it.
That's exactly right.
Regarding your comment about corporations, I'll tell you how I feel about that. I don't care. I've heard an argument too. Representative Phyllis Mundy made this argument that, well, the people with $1 million homes are going to get their property taxes eliminated too. I don't care. If my property taxes are eliminated, I'm not going to want that to happen because I'm jealous of the guy who has $1 million home. I don't think so. And it's the same thing with the corporations. I don't care. If my property taxes are eliminated, and most of all, my home is secure, as we're guaranteed in the Constitution, that's what's important to me. I'm still going to pay less. If it's a little bit more because the corporations are out of it, fine, because we can't afford to wait for a constitutional amendment to get that done. We just can't do it.
Senator, every other state around us and most states throughout the United States have addressed this problem a long time ago. How much longer are you and Harrisburg going to tread water?
Until we drown.
30 more years.
Yeah, I pay those property tax too, I'm drowning too. And our problem is, we have not done our job in making those numbers large enough in Harrisburg. And they have to get big enough to eliminate property taxes. They have to do that.
Just give it a try.
That's right, yeah.
Can't hurt if it goes south.
You just don't want to get rid of the cash cow.
I'm looking at this very selfishly.
I'm just waiting.
I'll be with that.
Go ahead.
Any of the senators, call our plan if you have a question. He's got the answer.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, Janice.
I'm only looking at this selfishly because I'm 90 years old. I haven't had anybody in school for 41 years. And when my children did go to school, they went to parochial school, which I chose that. I have no problem with that. I never had one day a bus ride. I never had one day a public school. And I'm not going to lose my home. And my only increments are my Social Security. And I live in a little poor house. And I love it. And I'm not going to lose it. But I'm only thinking of myself.
That's okay because I have a 96-year-old grandmother-in-law who only had one child, and she's still driving, live in her house. And I tried to get legislation for everybody over 90, and they said over 80, and it doesn't work that way. You can't, because if you try to scratch out somebody and say, anybody over 90, they did their dues. Let's get rid of their taxes. Then I got the letters at the end and said, well, what about me?
It doesn't solve the problem.
It doesn't end.
It doesn't solve the problem.
Way down. Yes, sir.
Senator, it sounds like you talking in two tongues. First you say it's a good bill. Then you say there's a bill that you got to chew and sit back and reevaluate and all
I'm
that.
going to look at this thing right now.
But at first you were saying it's a good bill. Now I'm a small business owner. You go right outside the door, my business is across the street. My property taxes are so high I'm getting ready to go to court now for reassessment. What are you going to do to help the voters in Johnstown with this tax thing? I mean, it's bad. All the businesses downtown, I see it every day because I'm down here, is moving from downtown because of the taxes. My business has declined about 40%. I'm on the verge of getting ready to try and sell my business because I'm losing money now.
What's the taxes, just for curiosity?
Taxes is killing me.
So what's your property taxes?
I'm paying almost $8,000 a year.
Well,
whoa. In the city of Johnstown?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Shouldn't you know that?
Senator, I do want to thank you for coming. I do appreciate you being here and coming and talking with us about this. So we're actually going to have to go and pick up our children. We have 2 kids in school, and we are a younger family. And we came here knowing that we probably wouldn't have that many younger families here. I wanted to let everyone know that we're facing a choice. Should we go south? Because most everybody else our age already has. I love this city. I grew up near here. I love these mountains. I'm going to have to leave them unless you guys do something. And we're doing everything we can. And it's not just us. It's everybody. I do want to thank you for coming.
Where do you live at?
Ma'am, I've heard that comment so many times from young people. They say too, we'd like to buy a home and we can afford the mortgage, we can't afford the property tax escrow on top of it. And although there are those who like to paint this as a problem just for senior citizens, they call us blue hairs. I'm sorry, it's not just senior citizens. And I think you've made that statement, that the young people are being affected just as much as the older citizens. It's just maybe a little bit more difficult for seniors, but everybody's affected by it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the comment.
You say you're going to have to look into this bill. What have you been doing all this time?
Yeah,
Why haven't you looked into
Listening
this
to other
before?
people.
And, Senator, what bill have you introduced to force the consolidation of school districts? What is the number of that bill?
I don't have in my pocket, I have 2 bills. One consolidates, the other one consolidates the merging of the administrative costs. Neither one have I been able to get out of committee. And I've done that every year I've been here.
Would passage of this bill, make them more likely to look at those consolidations?
It won't hurt. this bill can be a catalyst to doing a lot of other things.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. I thank you. I came.
Senator, one man there.
One question. Why do the taxpayers have to cater to the teachers' union?
Because they have strength.
I don't know what you mean by that. They are negotiated by a contract out there. I'm not going to sit here and take, there's rules of engagements here set up by the courts. There's contracts, they are negotiated, they have to be recognized and accepted.
Well, what are you going to do for suspicion?
I'm going to try to eliminate property tax.
Excuse me, I'm just a common, everyday, average Joe guy. I know it's easy to blame this gentleman up here, any other politician. If you don't like what any politician's doing, the person you should blame is not him, it's yourselves. It's us.
Yep.
Look in the mirror. You're the ones to blame. We're the ones to blame. Go to the polls. If a politician doesn't do what they're supposed to do, vote them out.
You can't vote them out.
Get enough people, yes you can.
You can, no, you
Guys
can
in
vote
this
somebody
room,
else
you
in.
guys are all together. We're all in this together. We're the ones who have to do something about it. We don't like what someone's doing, change it. It's easy to pass the buck and blame somebody else. Let's start with ourselves. How many people are going to say they're going to do something and don't do it?
Yep.
A lot of people do. Oh, your sign said it. What those sayings you had up there? Oh, hope they do it. Hope something happens. What are we going to do to change that? Okay? You got to stand up and do something about it.
Sir.
Don't pass the buck. Let's stand up on ourselves. And I'm not saying they don't have shoulder some of the blame, but we got to stand up and do something ourselves. It's going to start with us. Okay? Society's changed. We're not people like we used to. The whole thing. It's us. The people, everyday Joe's got to change.
Sir, I agree with you 100%. You are right. And I live in Franklin County. Took over 2 hours to get here. And I canvassed your neighborhoods to educate the people that your senator has not. Your senator had a responsibility to let you people know this bill was here. And on a Saturday, 12 of us went around into your neighborhoods and got over 200 signatures. Otherwise, today, you people would not know this bill is here. And it is going to take you to change. I'm a 61-year-old grandmother and had no idea about this bill until over 2 years ago. And Tuesday, I was protesting at the PSEA building in Harrisburg. And I am involved, and if I can do it, believe me, you can do it. Join us on Facebook. We post articles. We give out information. I have learned so much from this man up there, and by speaking to you in your neighborhoods and in your houses. We have been to Harrisburg, we have been to other senators' areas, and they do not know this bill. So if your senator doesn't know this bill, how are you going to know? Get involved.
Just to shed a little light on that, I am a real estate agent here in Cambria and Somerset counties, and we have been actively trying to get that out to all of our counties, putting articles in the newspaper, having the Tribune assist us in sharing this information that we believe as realtors is extremely important to help protect our property values. I would question the senator just to ask what you feel has happened in Westmont over the past several years. We have seen so many houses come on the market and not sell, or sell far below what they should have sold for because of the taxes and how that changes their monthly payment.
It's hurting Westmont's schools.
A lot of houses are empty up there.
Yes, they are.
And I don't personally live in Westmont. However, I have a great interest in that area because that's my livelihood. I work there. I work in all of Cambria and Somerset County, like I said, and it is extremely important to help these folks to be able to keep their homes and to be able to sell more real estate and to help our area improve. So we are behind it 100%, and our PAC has been definitely helping promote that as well. So I do hope that it does get out to the public, and we are on our Cambria Somerset Association of Realtors website. Does have a lot of information for anybody that's interested in reading about it as well. We've had open forums available to the public. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to talk as well.
Do we have time for one more question, sir?
I just want to thank you all. You're a very enthusiastic crowd, obviously showing your absolute concern and the financial concerns that you have. So I thank you for coming.
You helped me in the past, Mr. Wozniak, and that's why I have my
Thanks,
faith on
Debbie.
you.
Thanks, I needed that right now.
Seriously, you did.
Senator, may we ask you one more question?
Go ahead.
Senator, I have a couple statistics I'd like to read.
Okay.
Please think of these as families rather than numbers. U.S. foreclosure filings in 2013 were down 26% to the lowest annual total since 2007. Obviously, that's excellent news. However, Pennsylvania increased 13%. In other words, the United States as a whole, down 26%. Pennsylvania, up. Something's wrong. One other, please. U.S. foreclosure inventories in 2013, down 22%. Good news again. However, Pennsylvania increased 3%, 36,674 families. Guess what? I checked this Zillow on August 26th. That number in Pennsylvania is now increased to 42,723. And one final one, very short. Completed foreclosures, last 12 months, April 2013, 13,612. Foreclosures completed January 2014, 14,321. Foreclosures completed ending May 2014, 16,601. I think you know where we're going. The numbers are going up. Whatever system we have now is not working. We must change. Please, Senator, help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for coming out. We appreciate it. Senator Wozniak, I'd like to present to you, this is a petition that was circulated in the Johnstown area. There's over 300 people there that have signed a petition, and we'll have a couple hundred more to pass on to you. But thank you so much for coming out, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
One more picture. Sorry about that.
Mr. Baldinger, thank you so much. What a great job, David. Thank you.
Whose brain Abby someone? Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.